Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into the intricacies of coffee, its benefits, its drawbacks, and everything in between.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, coffee is pretty much a staple for so many people.
Absolutely. You know, coffee's really packed with antioxidants, vitamins like B2, B5, and minerals such as manganese and potassium. It might not sound like much per cup, but when you drink several cups a day, it really adds up.
Right. And that's one of the biggest selling points. It's like a hidden treasure trove of nutrients in a simple cup.
Exactly. And on top of that, there's so much buzz about how coffee is linked to lowering our risk of a number of diseases. For instance, research suggests that coffee drinkers might have up to a 65% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, that's impressive. It really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, who would have imagined that a beverage once demonized is now celebrated for potentially protecting the brain?
Yeah, it's a pretty radical shift. And it's not just the brain. Studies, have shown coffee might also lower the risk of type 2 diabetes and liver diseases like cirrhosis and even liver cancer.
Absolutely. I was reading about that too. The idea that even 2 cups a day could break down some serious risk factors for liver issues is just remarkable.
Right. And if we talk about mood and mental health, there's evidence that coffee drinkers experience a notably lower risk of depression and suicide. It seems like that quick caffeine boost might do more than just wake you up. It might also lift your mood.
Yup, but then again, there's a flip side to the coin, isn't there?
Absolutely, and let's get into that. The negative, you see, is that caffeine, while beneficial in moderate doses, can lead to issues like anxiety, jitteriness, and even heart palpitations in some people, especially if someone's sensitive to it.
Right? And then there's the whole sleep disruption factor. I mean, if you're not careful with your timing, like drinking coffee too late in the day, it can really mess with your sleep quality.
Yeah, a 2023 review suggested you should ideally have your last cup nearly 9 hours before bedtime. Otherwise, you might end up tossing and turning all night.
Correct. And let's not forget the issues of tolerance and withdrawal. Regular coffee drinkers build up a tolerance, meaning that the same cup that gives you a boost one day might not do so the next.
Exactly. It's like your body gets used to it. And then if you skip a day, you might get headaches, exhaustion, or even that infamous brain fog.
Yeah, that's got to be rough.
So, you see, coffee really walks a fine line. On one hand, it's packed with antioxidants, kind of like a natural shield against cellular damage. On the other hand, caffeine is a stimulant that can, in excess, lead to some pretty unwanted side effects.
Definitely. And speaking of antioxidants, it's wild to consider that coffee is one of the largest contributors of antioxidants in our diets, surpassing even some fruits and veggies. Indeed.
That's right. It really repositions coffee as more than just a morning ritual. It becomes a sort of health strategy, provided you manage it correctly.
But here's a thought. What about decaf? Some folks argue that you can get most of the benefits of coffee without the caffeine downsides. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Decaf coffee does contain many of those antioxidants and essential nutrients. The only significant difference is that the caffeine content is greatly reduced.
Exactly. And that can be really beneficial for people who are sensitive to caffeine or who have conditions like high blood pressure or anxiety.
Agreed, though I have to throw in a little challenge here. While decaf is a good alternative, some studies show that even decaf might not deliver the same degree of cognitive enhancement as regular coffee. The stimulant effect itself, while a downside for some, does have its upsides too, like boosting alertness and concentration.
Right, I see your point. That's a fair critique. It's like choosing between 2 sides of the same coin. You get the antioxidant benefits either way, but the extra kick in regular coffee might be a double-edged sword.
Exactly. And then there's the brewing method discussion. something many overlook. Unfiltered coffee, like from a French press, contains cafestol which can raise cholesterol levels. But using a paper filter reduces that, making it a healthier choice.
Good point. So for the health-conscious coffee lover, it's not just what you drink, but how you make it.
Yup, it's like a recipe for health in a cup. In fact, those fancy cafe drinks can sometimes have hundreds of calories and loads of added sugars, which totally undercuts the natural benefits of coffee.
Absolutely. That extra sugar can be a real downer.
And let's not overlook that caffeine itself can, to a degree, have a diuretic effect. Though generally, that effect lessens with regular consumption, it's still something to consider if you're drinking several cups a day.
True. But then again, for many people, caffeine is a mild diuretic, and the overall benefits can outweigh these minor inconveniences. Yeah.
Precisely. And there's always the individual element. Some people react differently to the same amount of coffee. So it really comes down to knowing your own body.
Exactly, it's personal. It's like some people have a built-in resistance to the jitters, while others are just a bit more sensitive.
Right. And that variability is what makes coffee such an interesting topic. It's celebrated for its benefits, but also cautioned for its potential downsides.
No doubt about that. I also think it's fascinating how coffee, which was once demonized as unhealthy, has now come around to be embraced by nearly everyone, from health experts to morning enthusiasts.
Yeah, it's like the full circle of public opinion, and it all ties back to emerging research that paints a more balanced picture. Coffee isn't just a simple beverage, it's a complex interplay of nutrients, antioxidants, and stimulants.
Definitely. And, another angle here is the lifestyle component. Coffee drinking often goes hand in hand with certain morning rituals or even social interactions, which in themselves can boost mood and mental well-being.
Absolutely, there's like this almost cultural wellness factor to it. Even if we ignore the biochemical aspects, coffee is a kind of social cornerstone.
Yep, exactly.
And on top of that, the act of brewing your coffee, choosing your blend, your method, can be a mindful, almost meditative process. It adds another layer to how we perceive its health impacts.
That's so true. It's not just about the physical benefits. There's a mental and emotional wellness side to it as well.
So, if you ask me, while there are clear downsides like potential sleep disruption, anxiety, or even tolerance issues, the overall consensus from the scientific evidence is that for most people, the benefits likely outweigh the negatives.
I agree. Yeah. But we have to remind our listeners that moderation is key. Everyone should consider their own health needs before ramping up their coffee intake.
Exactly. It's all about balance. You want that antioxidant punch without overdoing the caffeine. So whether you're a die-hard regular coffee fan or someone who opts for decaf, understanding these nuances can help you make better choices for your health.
This has been such a rich discussion. It's amazing how something as common as coffee can have so many layers of impact on our health and lifestyle.
Indeed, the world of coffee is as deep and robust as its flavor. It keeps us talking, thinking, and, yes, even feeling better when managed correctly. Thanks for tuning in, and here's to many more enlightening cups of coffee.